Today is
Now.
Good morning. Today is Saturday, March 2nd, 2024, and we are at 2235 Chapline Street. And I've called this, at least tentatively, the Neill House, N-E-I-L-L, because it appears that that may have been the first owner. So let's do a little bit of history of this house, and then we'll find out the future of the house. The National Register nomination for this historic district describes this house as a Greek Revival style building with an estimated construction date of the 1870s. The description continues with a notation of such fine details as crested window crowns, honeysuckle leaf design in eave brackets, clustered Ionic fluted columns, and a second-story bay window. So when you leave, turn around and look at the upper details and see what they're talking about. Although these details are typical of a house built in the 1870s, deed and city directory records show that a building stood on this site. This is lot 158 in the Chapline and Eoff edition, much earlier than this. Thomas Neill acquired two parts of lot 158, where the house now stands, for $1,500 in 1867 from William B. Quarrier and Beverly M. Eoff. Quarrier and Eoff appear to have been real estate speculators, since their names appear in many deeds in the 1840s, 50s, and 60s. And Quarrier had acquired the lot in 1847. A map of Wheeling in 1853 shows no structure on this particular lot. An 1871 map is labeled Mrs. Neill at this location, and by then Thomas Neill had died. He had died the year before. And the building looks substantial on this map. Now, this is not a very detailed map, but it looks like a pretty big map, a pretty big building, right across from the school. The Fifth Ward School was where the high-rise is now. In 1884, Sanborn maps were made, but they did not cover this part of Center Wheeling, so we don't know what was here then. But the 1890 Sanborn map clearly shows a building as it appears today, including the street address of 2235 Chapline. The pink color on the Sanborn map indicates that it was a brick building with a detached brick outbuilding to the rear. There's some yellow on the map, which indicates a frame section on the side, and there was also a frame outbuilding on the rear. The D on the building represents that it was a dwelling, and it was marked as a two-story building. I wasn't able to find much about Thomas Neill himself other than a Wheeling City Directory listing from the mid-1860s that showed that he lived on Chapline Street between 2nd and 3rd, and those are now known as 23rd and 22nd Streets, in Center Wheeling, along with his son James. Now, the son James Neill, we have a picture of him, a sketch from him from the obituary in the newspaper. Mid-1860s city directories indicate that he boarded on Chapline Street opposite the Fifth Ward School, Center Wheeling. He had enlisted in the U.S. Army at the beginning of the Civil War and was commissioned a second lieutenant in Company I of the 6th West Virginia Infantry. He served until the end of the war and was then brevetted a captain for, and I quote, gallant and meritorious service. After the war, James Neill entered the wholesale grocery business in a firm called Reed and Neill. He later partnered with William Ellingham in a similar firm that carried their names, and upon retirement, he and his family moved to Texas. In 1877, the property was sold to James Neill's sister, Maria Neill Barton, and her husband John for $5,000. John Barton was listed as a merchant in city directories. Sarah and James Giese purchased the property for $5,500 in the fall of 1888. They only owned it for just over 2 years, and apparently they also lived in Texas during this time period. But it should be noted that James Giese was a younger brother of Millard Fillmore Giese, and if you've done much Wheeling history, you'll know that he was one of the well-known architects back in the day. So perhaps an older building was remodeled at that time by James Giese's brother. Could be. Augustus and Katie Gasmere purchased the property for $6,750 in late 1890. 2 years after they had eloped. And this was reportedly due to opposition from Katie's parents. Now, Gasmere was a dentist. His office was at 1313 Market Street, and his office was described in city directories as elegant. According to an 1879 account, and I quote here, "A notable feature in Dr. A.F. Gasmere's practice is the fact of his being the first dentist to have conceived the charming idea of filling decayed frontal teeth with real diamonds. He has been singularly successful in thus setting several magnificent diamonds as firmly in their ivory bed as though a solid gold filling had been applied. And the increased attractiveness thereby imparted to the features will be more readily imagined than described." Now, with all the piercings and tattoos and things like that there are today, maybe that'll come back, and maybe diamonds in the front teeth, I don't know. The next owners were German immigrants Melavina and Christian Viewig Sr. Viewig immigrated to this country at the age of 17. He worked as a miner in Pennsylvania and Missouri before moving to Wheeling in 1849, where he ran the successful Farmer's Home Tavern in South Wheeling. In 1912, the property passed to Viewig's son, Dr. George Viewig Sr., and you may know that name from history. Viewig is on the staff of Ohio Valley General Hospital, so it would have been very convenient for him. He served for a time as the medical director of the Ohio County Tuberculosis Sanitarium, and during World War I, he was a captain in the medical corps at the base hospital in Montgomery, Alabama. Following Viewig's death, right here in this house, his wife Ruth remained in the home until selling it in late 1948 to William B. and Bessie Gorby. I checked with Hal Gorby, and he is not a relative. William Gorby worked as a watchman at Bois Knox. In 1963, Charles and Helen Duker, D-U-E-K-E-R, purchased the property for $14,000. Charles Duker was a World War I veteran who worked as a plumber and a pipe fitter, and sadly he committed suicide at the property. According to his death certificate, he, quote, lay to rear of auto and inhaled carbon monoxide. Widow Helen Duker remained in the home until the spring of 1984, when it was purchased by the law firm of Goodwin, Shanley, Green, and Quinn. That firm dissolved in 1985, with the property ownership going to Thomas Goodwin and Suzanne Quinn the following year. In 1999, Sue Ann Howard purchased the property, and in 2024, the current owner became architect Gus K. Office. So here we have the current owner.
Yeah. Well, it's a privilege and honor to have our names added to that lineage. You won't find me taking my life in the back. Oh, yeah. My wife Maria is here in the back, and my son Tino. We welcome you to the Neill House. We like the history behind it, and I think from here out, call it the Neill House. We've admired this property for years. As you may know, we lived on this street for 15 years at the Holiday Schaefer House, which the Friends of Willie has toured, and it's currently the place of my office where I practice architecture. And we would walk past this building on the way to church at St. John Divine and always admired it. And we slowly saw it disappearing behind the shrubs. And Sue Howard had her law office here for a number of years, and the house was, I think, vacant for a number of years, and it was just really by a fluke, because there was no for sale sign on the front of this building for about a year, so it was on the market. And then they decided to finally put a for sale sign up, and we inquired. So we were able to acquire it just not even a month ago. Wow. And so we have plans to perhaps keep it as an office on this floor, or some type of office business, or convert it to a 2-bedroom apartment. And really it's conducive to, I call it empty nester, or someone who wants to downsize, live on one single floor, have some storage in the level here, there's a bathroom. So very few modifications are planned here. One of the things we're going to do is create an entrance with a lockable door. And so that's one of the reveals we're going to do today while you're touring. We're going to have a carpenter open up a wall here. We know there was an opening there. We can feel the hollow spot. You know? And in the long run, those pocket doors will be closed, and that will become the entrance into the apartment. So you'll have an entry foyer here into this little side parlor. So, and the upper floor, I should say, is a similar layout, and it will have two one-bedroom apartments. So again, very little modifications because there are so many rooms and openings. All we're really planning on doing is closing this opening, which was not original. You can usually tell when you go to historic homes, it's like a forensic exercise. You can kind of see, look at baseboard, look at the wall trim, see when things were added and subtracted. And so those are our long-term plans. Very shortly, we will be painting the front of the building. We're actually in the process of rehabilitating 2310 Chapline Street, just a block down on your left. You'll see a lift in front of that building. We have some drawings here for you to examine if you like. And we're in the process of painting that facade right now. And you can see we've done a couple color studies. Can you imagine which one we might have gone with?
Mm-hmm. That one.
Yeah, that's it. So we like that deep blue color with the cream, and we think it's going to be a nice look. So we're going to try to piggyback on the fact that we have that lift rented and bring it down here, and probably next week, since we have the good weather, paint this facade. Painting a facade goes quickly. It's not a lot of area. And if you have the lift, you can almost do it in a day.
Will that other property be residential or commercial or a combination?
It'll be primarily residential. Yeah.
And we'll see if we can tour that at some point. I haven't done that yet.
Yeah. So we'll do that next. Right now, we're in the drywall stages. So when we get a little further along, we're into the carpentry stage. We'll be happy to have you tour that. One thing that, when your presentation, when you mentioned the Sanborn maps, I looked at that map. We think that that original 1890 structure might have stopped right here.
Wow.
And that this was, from my back on, might have been an addition. And that might have been the improvements done by the architect. And so we have some floor plans here, and you can see a little notch in the plan, and that's right where I'm standing. And it's possible that was an addition. It looks like that on the map. And that was very common on a lot of these homes. As families grew, they expanded. It's hard to believe that one single family lived in this house, but I imagine at the end of the day, they had many children and large families, and there was a need for that. So you're welcome to go anywhere you like. We have the lights on, the heat on. We have a basement. That's always my first place I go. And you can go upstairs and feel free to ask me questions. I think I'm going to go around with you.
You're going to go with Joanne, so we get pictures for those who are watching us online. And then we'll gather back here for the reveal, which will be in the room to my left.
Right. If you hear some buzzing and vacuum sweepers, that's what we'll be doing. So. And there's a line on the wall there where we're going to create the opening. So.
Awesome.
We don't know if there's a pocket door. We know there's an opening. We don't know if it's a pocket door. You see there's pocket doors here and here. It's very possible.
And just,
This will be
take
great
a look at
to
this
there.
pocket door, which is incredible.
Yeah. And they still work.
That's
It's one huge door. That is amazing. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you.
Yes, we're live.
To our part, Facebook podcast.
Yep, we're on Facebook Live. Just take me around.
This is the area we're going to create and make an entry foyer. Across here, follow spot. One of the first entryways is you see a very good carpentry job that was done in splicing the two baseboards together. You can see the joint.
Oh, yeah.
We have 3 bay windows in the house, and each bay window is beautiful. This is a beautiful dining room with a coffee ceiling. We call this a butler's pantry.
Goes to the basement.
That was a former laundry chute, which is now used for mechanicals.
Yeah.
There's plumbing and gas lines and such going up there.
It's cute.
Yeah, we intend on just replacing the floor. That's all we need to do. Back stair, which was made times for servants.
Yep.
And exit. That opening will be sealed up, and this will become a laundry room.
Okay.
Probably just a door out here.
Yeah.
Small bedroom.
Oh, this
And
is,
here's a nice period style.
I love this.
Yes, this is Suhara's office.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. You bet. Love it. We love it. Yeah. This will be
Well, hello.
the master bedroom for this apartment.
The mantles are beautiful.
Yes.
And this was a floor. We'll probably keep that as functional. Nice backboard. All right. Very good. Craftsman style. Yeah, this dining room, which is nice.
It's beautiful.
About a year and a half.
So am I doing this?
Adam is coming.
Oh, he is?
Yep.
Hello.
Stay tuned for the reveal. We have a partner coming for that. Okay, so this is the room. On the other side of that reveal will be an opening here. And this will become
Yeah.
the entrance into that first
Why would they
apartment.
close this?
Well, probably for the same reasons we are. They needed a
Yeah.
lockable door. So this will be a nice entry to that apartment. We'll just close those doors and
Right, yeah.
fasten them shut.
Okay.
All right.
And we would like to introduce some glass into probably one of these doors, just so that we can get a little more light. This wood panel. Perhaps there was glass in there. How about we look outside on the front porch? Have you done anything on that? Okay, beautiful mosaic
Little
porcelain
bumpy.
floor. And what we think is that this was also an addition. And if you look in the basement, you'll see some windows that were
See your neighbors.
the neighbors are great, yeah. That were open here, and they laid the concrete on wood. And these are actually wood beams. If you pop one of these tiles up, you can see the wood beam there.
Wow.
And I think over the years, the wood in between the wood beams has settled, and that popped the veneer. So we're going to do a repair on this. And you want to get a view of the outside? No? Well, I would say that this would be originally was more of an Italianate style, and you can tell by the ornamental brackets there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, and then when they added the addition, it was more of a Greek revival on the porch addition. And we don't think they did the best job on designing the foundations. For that, you can see there's a crack there. And the columns are a little out of plumb. We're going to try to correct those. So it's definitely an addition to the structure. But the beautiful cast or cut stone, or those might actually be cast iron window lintels. And the ornament is all still there, so that's why I think they're probably cast iron because they haven't rotted.
Okay.
Okay. We love this combination of the Corinthians column with the brick pier. I think it's a nice look. All right. So
Upstairs?
We'll go upstairs.
Ooh.
This is so grand.
This is a nice tree.
Yep.
Some stained glass.
Oh.
Right here.
Twists and turns here.
And so we think we could do an apartment from this wall forward.
Okay.
It's a small one bedroom and another, actually 2 bedroom perhaps even in the back, or 1 bedroom with an office. We want to maintain that arched opening, create the entry into the apartment next door in.
I love the arched doorway.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Some narrow hallways, we might open up some walls and make the hallway feel a little wider. I'd open this up here. Here we go.
Looks like we have a little water. Looks like a little water in there somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. Let's turn that off. All right. Well, see, here you are. That's one thing you have when we go. I turned the water on this morning in case someone needed to wash up and have a little leak. Okay, and then this is our the back stair.
Okay.
And this beautiful back door. Will be a matter.
It's nice to have the off-street parking back here. It'd be nice to have a little
Whoa.
yard with some grass though.
And then we have room.
But you get off the big street, it's different.
This will become a bedroom. We'll have an opening here into the hallway.
Uh-oh, what happened
And
here?
then this will become the bathroom and walk-in closet for the front apartment. So this was a room not ever finished. And you can tell by the plumbing that this originally was a bathroom or a washroom of some type. So we'll be building that floor up, and that entrance will be open, and you'll walk through a walk-in closet into a little bathroom.
Nice.
So again, not a lot of demolition with this project plan, but working with what we have, so we always try to do.
So do you have a renovation budget in mind?
Yes, we do.
Would you like to share it?
Well, we could do it for about $50,000.
Right,
We
exactly.
do a lot of the work ourselves, so
Right.
it might be under what that would cost.
You got your son handy as a
Yes.
project foreman, getting in here and,
As he's searching for jobs in his profession, we have him working on it.
which is what?
He has a business major and a degree in jazz percussion.
Wow, that's an interesting combination.
Yes. His dream was actually to open up a jazz club in Wheeling. We thought of utilizing this building if possible, so, but that's yet to be determined.
Yeah.
We think we could support maybe 1 day a week a jazz night in Wheeling, would that be great?
That would be
yeah.
great. That
Well,
would
you
be
certainly have a great canvas here. In this house.
Exactly. These buildings just so well built.
Yeah.
They bounce back.
Okay, go ahead.
That concludes our tour, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, how about you see the front apartment yet?
No, we didn't see the front. We have to walk.
That way. Yeah, let's go that way.
About 2 years.
Thank you.
Ignore that one, yeah. We're doing a live tour right now.
How's it going, neighbor?
This will become a bedroom. Again, this is the old,
Yeah,
up to the
Yeah.
bathroom.
okay.
See the final
Yep,
spot?
yep.
You can tell with this place in the baseboard how it's been matched up.
upscale.
And,
Oh, okay.
It's a cocktail bar.
Yeah, that sounds like it.
Oh,
had a little office here.
I was gonna say, is it a
Work out.
stage?
It's an L-shaped kitchen right there. We'll redo our floor. And yeah, another beautiful
yeah.
bay window with the box bed. There we go. So, that's it.
Okay, I lost Jean. Do you want? Oh, there she is.
I'm gonna go check on the carpenter downstairs.
Okay, so I'll get to.
Kind of quiet, but you saw the.
Okay, all right, thank you. We want to film the reveal though, so we will stop the filming of the tour right now. And thank you for joining us on our Friends of Wheeling tour for early March.